I came into the smoking room for privacy because people are. I don't want to record anybody in the background, so I just wanted to make sure I'm respectful. Because I've learned on this trip that it's very important. Well, of course, it's always important, but I don't want to be the foreigner that's like, what is this guy interrupting us for? So I want to make sure I'm extra cautious with how I behave. So when I last talked, we were walking back to my hotel after having dinner with my second cousin. We were trying to find out how we're related, what it's called. I don't think it's second cousin, but anyway, I'll call him my cousin. So that night I did my Appa Hotel's public bath for the first time, and it's the first time I did a sit down shower, and that is amazing. You get so clean. I never spent so much time cleaning my legs. Usually, I just let the soap run down my body, Hardly get to my feet. It was different. Never been so unclothed and just freely walking like everyone else was. It was not that crowded. It was a different experience. I would do it again, and I might need to do it again for if it could help my muscles relax and recover, because man, I am beat up. My shoulders hurting from lifting my luggage up everywhere, my heavy luggage, from dragging it from hotel to train, my rolling luggage if I need to do that, because I've been doing that a lot. Carrying my backpack when I'm shopping, or sometimes I have the double strap backpack, or it's the single strap, so it'll hurt one shoulder at a time depending on what's in it. And so my shoulders, my arms, of course my feet, but even like the sides of my feet, my ankles, because I'm not used to walking so much. I'm getting irritated by rubbing against my shoes, which I was prepared for, I thought, but I didn't know I'd be walking as much as I have yesterday. So that dinner was on Sunday. Oh, that's also when I went to Uniqlo and I was shopping. I think I bought, compared to America, I bought about $150 worth of clothes for like $80. I got a big puff jacket, some hoodies, some shirts and sweaters. I need to buy pants, but I didn't. At the time, I was kind of in a rush, so I didn't feel like trying those on and altering them there. I could have had them altered, but I skipped that. But Uniqlo was the first time where one of the workers was, everyone bows a little bit during when they're talking to you, like to be respectful, or like multiple times, and just saying like just to like acknowledge you. But this was the first time where I was going. Oh, so the Uniqlo was 4 floors. Maybe it might be more. And this wasn't even the Uniqlo, the flagship one, which I heard is 12 floors. So I was going down the elevator, and then one of the workers did a full 90-degree bow, like looking at the floor, like straight back, legs. They did like this, and saying thank you. And I was going to the elevator, and the doors were still open, and they were closing, and the person still had their full bow, 90 degrees, and the doors were closing so slowly, but they held their bow even to the very end. And I was like, whoa, this is a different experience, treating someone stranger. Like I bought not that many clothes, like that many bags full, but that was very nice to see. And even when I'm walking through a train station or something, and someone, well, I get it wrong sometimes too, when I like cut people off and I make them stop. But sometimes people will do that in front of me, and then like they'll obviously get in my way, and then they'll stop, and they'll do like a full bow, like stop. They'll turn directly toward me and like ask for my forgiveness. I'm like, oh man, that's way overboard. I'm just a guy. You don't have to. Like I wouldn't do that if like if I interrupted the president. Like I'd like say something like, oops, excuse me, but I wouldn't acknowledge them and like I dishonored them. But it's something I really enjoy about the culture here in Japan so far. So that was unique though. Also, when I was walking over there, because it's maybe a 15-minute walk, but that was the first taste of me walking through the crowds in the streets. It's not the busiest intersection, but just seeing everyone like come together and then not getting in each other's way, and they'll like go through each other depending on where they're going. It's interesting to see. So that was Sunday, and then what did I do Monday? Monday I did Disney World. Oh, maybe did I talk about the bus stop? So Monday morning I went to Disney World, and to get there I had to take the bus, which is different from the train, the subway. I remembered when I was learning Duolingo. Well, I'm still doing it, but they emphasized so much about baste, the bus stop, and I kept wondering what's such a big deal about a bus stop? It's just a bus, and then there's like a sign, and then that's where you wait. Sometimes there's a little bench, and you wait at a bus stop. But the bus stop over here, it's a huge station, 5 floors I think it was, and there's like each floor, the buses, there's like 10 stops for a bus, and then they tell you where to go exactly. You have to go and get your exact ticket, like, oh, 4th floor F, this is arriving in at I don't know, like 10:20 a.m. So I got there, and then there was a bus that got there I was like waiting for 10:20, like, oh, it's gonna be here at 10:20 in 20 minutes. I got there pretty early. And then it turns out buses here arrive early. Well, they don't leave early, but they arrive early. And I was just, it was different to see. Also, the buses, you have reserved seats, so I was like seat 2A. And they're also, the bad thing about it though is they're tiny. The seats are tiny. I had to go like this. There was one guy next to me, he was here, like, we weren't, both of us had to go like this. You couldn't have a full shoulders with. That was the one of them. I guess that's probably like my only complaint about so far about the transportation. Besides that, of course, it's so crowded. So I guess they have to do that. It's not really a complaint. It was just I didn't like having to, or one of us had to be sideways so our shoulders could go back. So I went to DisneySea. What did I do there? I didn't do all of the rides because the rides were too long and I was only going to be there for 4 hours. The best ride I did was Tower of Terror. That was a heck of fun. Compared to LA, it's just a different story. What was the story about? I forgot now. I've done so many things since then. But I remember it was really, really fun. It was short though. It's a different story. But, I mean, there's nothing really to explain about it. DisneySea, So much less crowded. You could. I think it's a good park for like parents to bring their kids. There's so much space. There's so many places to stop and relax. It's so much less crowded. There's not that many attractions though. You could probably do it all in. If I was smart, I could have rode every ride for in 4 hours. But I did pay for the premier line access, I guess, priority access. So I paid like $8 to cut in line for like Peter Pan ride. I did that for 2 rides, that one and Tower of Terror, which I'm gonna pay. If it's $9 compared to 2 hours of waiting, I'm gonna pay. Just especially because I didn't have time. I wasn't able to do the journey to the center of Earth, which I wanted to, but I didn't manage my time efficiently. I didn't book the right things in order, so I couldn't before I had to leave. The food was good. I had a creme brulee churro. I had the chicken curry from the Aladdin Agrabah restaurant. The sights, there's some. I think that's definitely the most beautiful park I've been to, and I've been to Disney World. There's so many places to take pictures. Scenery's the best, especially for only $60 a ticket. I would definitely recommend that one. I don't know about Disneyland in Tokyo. I think it's pretty much the same as everywhere else. So if you've been to that, I'd probably skip it. That's what I've read. And then what else? Oh, that was also the day I forgot to put on deodorant. Why did I tell you this? But I was self-conscious. So every once in a while I check, or I go to the bathroom and like get some soap. And I tried to buy deodorant, but they don't really sell it in Japan. I guess people just don't stink. When I'm under a certain weight, I don't stink either. So maybe it's just because everyone's in shape that their body doesn't produce the odor. So when I was leaving Disneyland or DisneySea, I took the Disney Resort line, and they have their train to go to another park. It's full of Mickey Mouse. There's giant Mickey Mouse windows, huge. The handles that you hold on, they're like Mickey Mouse shaped. In the corner of each car, there's like a display and a screen of Disney stuff, like movies. I would be so happy if I was a kid and I walked into that. That was nice to see. Even though, I guess, you don't see themed stuff like that very much. So, DisneySea, and then I did. From there, I went to teamLab's. What was it called? teamLab's Borderless, and this so far. Let's see. I don't want to overhype it, but I'm gonna. It's been. Dang, how can I not spoil it? It was the highlight so far. I walked in. teamLab's Borderless is like a museum with like lights on the wall. I'm gonna post a full vlog and show you the footage. Maybe I'll do a voiceover for that so I can explain how much fun I had. When I first walked in though, tickets are like $25. I booked in advance because it was one of the things I wanted to do while I was in Japan. So when I first walked in, there's just a big room with like huge tall room, walls like far away, and they just had like designs of flowers being projected on it. And I was like, I walked in, I'm like, dang, this is a ripoff. But luckily it was only $25. And I just expected to walk through a whole bunch of different rooms with different, maybe not flowers, maybe different textures or pictures. And for a while, that's definitely what I did. Sometimes there'd be stuff moving, like there'd be like fish, like swimming across a different background if it wasn't flowers. And it's just a big maze with huge walls, a lot of space, and there was a lot of people. So it wouldn't be good if you go at a busy time, or it wouldn't be as good. And then every once in a while there'd be like a little secret room with its own thing. It's not like just some stuff on the walls, but there'd be, you've probably seen pictures, but there's like rooms of balls of light, or rooms of light up pillars. It's definitely a good Instagram picture room, and that's what a lot of people are doing. After going through all them, I realized, oh, I've seen people do pictures with all these different backgrounds. Toward the end, or what felt like the end of the area, or there was actually the main room. There was a, how do I explain this? So the whole, say this is a whole, their whole warehouse area size, then there'd be, like, part of it was a big auditorium with huge, like, 3-floor high ceilings and everything projected all around. There's like a mountain where you could sit on, and that's probably the main room where people were just relaxing and chilling. And when I walked through there the first time, I was like, wow, so this is it. People just pay to watch these lights on the walls, take the pictures, and then they just sit here for, like, to get their money's worth. Because at the time I was like, okay, this is like, I walked through like for 20 minutes and then that's it. So I assumed people were just there to like, oh, to be there longer to get their money's worth of this thing. One of the really cool things that I liked from the beginning was there's an area where you stand. It's like a little incline, and there's a big projection on the walls ahead of you, and you look straight. And depending on which scene it is, there's music playing, and then it feels like you're flying, or like you lose your balance, like you're flying with whatever the scene is. Sometimes there's birds, sometimes like you're going through plants, or like feels like you're going through a river. I stuck around for so many scenes, or I would do one, and then when it stopped, I would do something, go somewhere else, and then I'd come back. So I came back to try a bunch of them. And so after I'd been there for like 25, 30 minutes, like, oh, I'm done. This is a waste, but at least I did it. I was feeling like that. And then I found out, I don't know how I found out, but maybe because I saw a kid just like having his hand on the walls. And I remember, so each of the special rooms, they have, sometimes they'll tell you like, please don't touch the artwork. They'll have a sign and they'll make you acknowledge it before you can continue. But unless if you're in that room, like, they don't say those signs. So I realized you could touch the walls, and when you touch the walls, stuff happens no matter where you are. So those fish that were swimming through one of the rooms, I was thinking of butterflies, but you could touch the butterfly and it'll kill it. Maybe not kill it, but it'll fall down. The butterfly will fall down. And if you hit like 10 butterflies, they'll all fall down on the wall. So 30 minutes in, I realized, oh, you could interact with stuff. And that blew my mind. Um, I don't know. I don't want to spoil it. So I did that. Like I started walking through more stuff. Like, oh, can I touch this? Oh, I can touch this person. He makes a sound. Or if I hold my hand here, butterflies will come out of my hand, and there'll just be like millions of them, and then they'll go fly through the whole entire museum. Unless if somebody touches them and then they fall and they die. What else? There's birds that fly fast, and you have to catch them. You have to be fast. They're not slow like butterflies, but they'll like zoom and they'll go up way past that you can't reach them. And then they go to the auditorium room, and people, well, I started to, because people didn't realize it, like they were beginners like me at the beginning, so like I tell them like, oh, push that symbol, like, and then it'll disappear. Or like, oh, somebody get that bird, and I'd like rush toward it a little bit, and then people would look at me like I'm crazy. It's so funny. Like, what is that guy doing? He's following a light bird. But when I touched it, it would explode into a huge flower, and then I was like, whoa! So, because then they didn't realize you could touch stuff either. So like that's how I felt when it blew my mind. Like after spending so much time, like, oh, I didn't know I could do this. This changes everything. And yeah, I went to that room for a long time, or just walking through it and like trying to interact with everything. And like, oh, okay, I'm getting my fill now. Let me go back into the auditorium room and like show more new people, like, oh, you can touch all this stuff. This is interactive. Somebody catch that bird. Go run all the way around. And then sometimes you see kids like, oh, go get the bird. They'll go run around. So I thought I was done by that time. And then there's also, eventually I noticed in that same room, the auditorium, if you walk to a certain area, there's like a trail of water, of light water that follows you everywhere you go. And I didn't notice this for so long because you don't look down and you don't look behind you. And you're used to looking up because everything's up. But if you just look down, there's always, no matter where you go, there's always a flow of like light, like water. And you could walk in a circle, and then there'd be a whirlpool that just stays there for a while. And then you could keep walking, and then it just follows you. And every single person, there's like hundreds of people, they all have this flow of water following them. And it took me like over an hour to notice. At least an hour. And then I also went back to the auditorium to like walk in front of some kids, and I walked in a circle. And then they like, whoa, there's a whirlpool behind them, and then all the kids start riding. It was so fun to like unlock new things as time went. It kind of felt like a video game where like you beat the video game, and then you go back and you help your noob friend that hasn't played before, but you're all strong. You have all this knowledge, and you're teaching them like the ropes, and you feel empowered with all the knowledge and like what you could teach them, and just like showing off or teaching the kids or the random strangers, like even adults, like as a man. So, because I definitely felt like, oh, this is a waste of money. I waited in line too, and it's so crowded. It's just a cash grab. But after showing them that every single person could just put their hand on the wall, and then like flames would eventually like shoot up from it. it was so I was there for over like maybe like two hours, maybe even more than 2 hours. Because I'd walk a place like, oh, you can put your hand through this wall. It's not a wall. It's a projector. So yeah, that was a huge highlight so far. I'm gonna do a whole video of that. I had so much fun. I don't. So I definitely overhyped it. But just my feeling of let down to like, oh cool, oh cool, oh, and I could show all these other people that it's not a letdown. It's at least it's worth experiencing. It was teamLab's Borderless. That was the one I did. So that was still my Monday, and then after that I went to Tokyo Tower, which is a huge like Eiffel Tower type of building. So I did that at night because I wanted to see what Tokyo looks like at night. I guess I should have done Skytree. There's another option. I don't know, is that Shibuya? Or I've heard there's a few of them. Tokyo Tower, it was cool. I got my pictures. I got to see Tokyo at night from really high. If you do it, I definitely recommend to get the top deck tickets. Actually, I don't think I would recommend it, but if you do it, do the top deck tickets because it's just a tower that goes really high, and the normal main deck. I thought the normal main deck would be somewhere like around like 3/4 or close to the top, and the top deck is just like a little bit higher. But the main deck is like right in the middle, so and like a lot of the basic buildings are taller than it. So the main deck is definitely not worth it if you want to do that. The top deck is worth it, but with the lines, I went super late at night, like 9 p.m. and it was still crowded. So I can't imagine going there during or busier times. So that's my review of that. And so that was my Monday. I got 30,000 steps in. And I looked it up, and that's half of a marathon at least, which is 13 miles. So I had 30,000 steps. My camera was almost out of batteries, even though it has the extended battery, because I took so much videos of teamLabs. My phone, well, I brought 2 external batteries, and I used 1 full external battery, and I was starting to use the second one because my phone was like 30% battery, and that was a day. Full good Monday. So let me recap. DisneySea, definitely recommend, especially if you got kids. It's a good way to do time. But you'll probably have time to do stuff after, so maybe like half a day. Try to plan to pay for the priority tickets, of course. And make sure you prioritize which rides to get with those, so you hit the good ones. Some of them are. Oh, they have a small world. Instead of it's a small world, it's like a Sinbad. It's like 15 minutes of sitting on a boat, watching the story of Sinbad, which would be good for kids, or if you want to relax. If it's sunny that day, if you want to just sit on a boat inside some dark. So DisneySea recommend. Tokyo Tower, do not recommend. teamLab's Borderless, definitely recommend. That was my Monday. And then that's why, so I'm probably going to do a Disney vlog too because I recorded a lot. But my day was so full, that's why I didn't update you Monday. And wow, this is getting long. Wow, 30 minutes? But I didn't even talk about Tuesday yet. Okay, so that's part A. Part 1. I'm going to stop this video and then I'm going to start part 2 of my Tuesday.